Today we're going back to good old roots of rock and roll, and I have here with me Alex from Voodoo Circle. Alex, how you making out today, man?
Hey, all good. Sitting here in France, actually.
Oh,
Even if I'm
sweet.
German, but I live in France,
Okay,
having a nice Bordeaux.
got your wine.
So I'm,
Yep,
I'm,
exactly.
yeah.
Where's the cheese and the croissant? I don't see that anywhere.
Downstairs in the kitchen. I'm here in my studio.
Excellent.
No food in the studio.
Yeah, no, 100%. Alex, we're talking about the next album from the band, Hail to the King. It comes out November 15th on AFM Records. Bring me up to speed for the fans here in the States about Voodoo Circle. Give me a little bit of background of where you guys have come from and how you got to this point of releasing this exciting new album.
Uh, well, the history about Voodoo Circle is, I try to make it quick. I started Voodoo Circle back in 2007. Um, Actually, it was founded in the car while driving back home from a jam gig with David Reedman, the singer. We were jamming in a club close to the Netherlands, playing covers. We had the drummer of Simple Minds on drums, a
Well,
very famous German bass player, and myself and David, and we jammed like Hendrix and all this kind of stuff.
right on.
And on the way back to my home, David was sleeping over at my place. I said to David, "Hey, David, this was such a great show. We need to make a band, a band which is able to jam, like in the '70s, like
Yeah,
Deep Purple did, like Led Zeppelin did, like Rainbow did. This is actually what I like the most. Go on stage and do something out of the blue, change the song into something different, and surprise the people and the musician on stage."
from the musician standpoint, it gives you that creativity to do something like that. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I wanted to have musicians which are able to listen to the other musicians while playing and react to it.
Right on.
And that's a real musician. A real musician is not listening to himself, he's listening to the others and and contribute to what the others are doing.
Doing what's needed.
And so
Yeah.
I was looking for musicians who would be able to do this, and this was the original idea, and this is why I came up with the band name Voodoo, like Voodoo Child, Hendrix, and Circle, like a circle of friends.
Excellent.
So this was the start in 2007, and yeah, obviously I'm a big fan of Richie Blackmore and also Rainbow and Whitesnake and Deep Purple, and we are. I wouldn't say heavily influenced. I would say we are uh, what's that in English? Reminiscence.
Yeah,
You know,
reminiscent of a little bit
I
of this, a little bit
want,
of that.
yeah, like a baby, like the Purple Rainbow and Whitesnake having a baby.
Yeah,
This is Voodoo Circle, and I want to sound exactly like that. I want to sound like Rainbow, Whitesnake, or Deep Purple. This is the Voodoo Circle sound. And I mean, I get the critics of some people. They say, "Oh, this is nothing new." No, it's not. I don't want it to be new.
right.
I want it exactly to be like this because those bands are basically not existing anymore, or they exist but in a different way. And I want the sound of the '70s and '80s playing in 2024.
Yeah, I mean their music's alive and their music's still growing and still out there, but there's nothing new from that type of genre coming out. So that's awesome that you're doing that.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Before we get into the meat of the album, I got to talk about the artwork because the artwork for Hail to the King is such a cool visual. I mean, how did the artwork come together?
Well, I'm glad you like it.
It's
It's
so cool.
basically a skull.
Yeah,
It's not reinventing the wheel, right?
of course, of
But
course.
how the guy made it is really cool. Yeah, it's all the little details and everything. Um, the story behind this is actually I was in a what's that in English? A construction market,
Yep.
construction where you buy tools,
Yeah,
tool driver and stuff
yeah,
like this.
hardware store. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And I saw this painting of a skull, very very Hendrix like, very colorful. And I took a picture with my phone and sent it to the record company and said, I want to have a cover like this. And then they said, Alex, looks great. The painting looks great. But um, 2 albums ago, we had the same cover. We had the skull and it was very, and everything. And I said, oh shit, yeah, you're right. But I want this. Make it somehow different. This is how they made it.
Put a crown
So
on it. Exactly. Hail to the
put a
king.
crown on it. Hail to the king.
And
Exactly.
again, just even the visual and the album title, it screams rock. I mean, hail to the king. Like, come on.
Hail to the king. And you know what? There's a funny story about that song because the original title of that song was The Men in Black,
Okay.
meaning Richie Blackmore. It
Okay.
was a song, it was supposed to be a song about Richie Blackmore. And the working title was The Man in Black. And then I sent the files to David, the singer, and I told him, David, make this about Blackmore and Rainbow and whatever. Yeah, yeah, sure. And then I get the files back, and he's singing like the man in, he's singing like Hail to the King. And I'm like, didn't we say, or didn't I say, let's do it about Blackmore? Oh yes, I forgot about it, but it's great, right? Yeah, yeah, it's great. Okay, we take it.
Well, I mean, again, I really have enjoyed the album. I listened to it through a couple times, and the album kicks off with the track "Lay Down Your Lovin'." I think that's the next single coming out.
Yeah,
Am I right?
exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know, and you talk about Rainbow and Whitesnake. David's vocals is so David Coverdale. You know, from that Deep Purple Coverdale era, the Whitesnake era. It his vocal just lends to this type of music, and your
yeah,
guitar work behind it feeds into that. And I think that that's what you get about that circle part. You know, like the band uh, uh, um, appreciates the vocals and just adds depth to it, you know?
yeah. 80s, 70s. It's all about the singer. It's the singer, not the song.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and even your guitar playing, Alex, like when I listen to this track, the chords set a certain mood, and then the leads just bring it over the top, you know? And then there's a really small bridge in there that's just so freaking cool. I dig it, man.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
such a good
I
tune.
mean, I thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I spent so many hours here in my studio recording guitars, and I'm a sound freak. You know, I have around 30 guitars. I have like 15 amplifiers, and I'm tweaking and searching for the right sound. And most of the time, what I'm listening to is like 6, 7, or 8 guitars, layers of guitars. It's not only one; it's 6 or 7 or 8, sometimes 10 or 12.
Wow.
I'm always trying to find a little detail here, a little one there. You won't hear it without headphones, but this is my thing. You know, I dive into this like crazy, and I spent like 2 days just on finding the right sound for a 5 second piece. You know,
Yeah, yeah, like in that bridge, that little bridge is a small part, but it just, I mean, I don't know how you even do that shit, but it's just crazy. But you know, having all the different layers, how do you translate that to performing the song on stage? Because you can't have all that stuff live, you know.
I just make it louder. I just turn
Loud
the
and
amp
rock
up.
is they go together very well. Crazy,
No,
man.
really.
The first single off the record was "Let It Rock." Um, and what I liked about that, Alex, from a guitar player standpoint, is I imagined if Randy Rhoads played "Crazy Train" as a rock song and not a metal song, it would be similar to what I'm hearing on "Let It Rock," man.
Wow. Wow, that's wow, that means something because I, when I started playing guitar, I went to a show and I saw Randy Rhoads playing here in Germany.
Oh, wow.
There's a story behind this. So when you say that something is ringing a bell inside me. You know, something rings to me. And I saw Randy on stage, and I remember this so clearly. I closed my eyes and I said to myself, Alex, never forget this picture on stage right now because this is what you want to do in life. for the rest of your life. You want to be this guy over there. And
You're
I
giving me
already had a
chills. You're
band,
giving
and
me chills with that story, man. I can't even believe that.
it gets better. It gets better. It gets better. Then I went back home, painted my Marshalls white, and then you know what? Wait a second. Wait a
What?
second. And then I bought this
Oh,
guitar.
sweet. Oh man.
It's unfortunately it's totally broken. It's totally broken, old, broken. But I bought this guitar, and I wanted to be Randy Rhoads, and and uh, and now let me tell you this story because it's really a good story. Um, a friend of mine, he knew that I'm a big Randy admirer, and he made me a necklace of the guitar from Two's Gold.
Wow.
And I
Okay.
was wearing this necklace all my life. I don't wear it anymore. It's retired, but I wore it for all my life. And one day I was in at the NAMM show in Los Angeles, and there's Rudy Sarzo, the bass player.
Sure. Yeah.
And Rudy was in the band that evening when I saw Randy playing.
Wow.
And I got introduced to Rudy, and I shook his hand, and I showed him my necklace, and I told him the story I've made. Well, a friend made me this necklace like 1 week after I saw you and Randy in Germany, 1981, and he started to get
Yeah.
goosebumps.
Yeah.
And the story goes further. And then I told him that once I was in Spain at the beach at holidays. I was 20 or 21. It doesn't matter. And I lost this necklace in the ocean, but I didn't realize it. I was just swimming, doing fun with my girlfriend by the time, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then I went back on the beach and I looked on the ground in the water and I saw something like blinking.
Yeah.
And I just took my hand into the water and I had my necklace in
Oh,
my in I lost
it
it in the
came back to you.
ocean
It was supposed to be with
and
you,
it
man.
came back to me.
Wow.
and and yeah, so that whole thing means a lot to me. So I told Rudy that story, and he had tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
And by that time, I recorded the very first Voodoo Circle album, the debut album, and I asked Rudy if he would like to play one song on the album, and he did.
Oh
There's one
my
song on the
gosh.
first Voodoo Circle album where Rudy Sarzo is
He's
playing
playing
bass.
bass. Holy smokes, man. I cannot believe that story. Well, again, that's the first thing that came to mind when I heard Let It Rock. It's got some Randy influence there, and that's all I can say. If Crazy Train was a rock song, I think it would be the song. So good for you, man.
Yeah, yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
And so who in the band writes the lyrics for the tunes? Because lyrically, this just talks about, the love of a true rock and roll person, It's lyrically it just stands out as a rock anthem.
Yeah, David, he's from the UK. He's a native English speaker. I'm not, obviously, and so when it comes to write down lyrics and everything, I leave it to David because
Okay.
he's the guy. I'm
Yeah.
not telling him what to write and what to say. And I tried to write lyrics. The last album, there were two songs where I wrote the lyrics, and I got some really bad critics for it.
So you
So
stick to the guitar, Dave does
I stick to the guitar.
vocals.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
they called him cheese. They called him cheesy and cheap and whatever. And I thought,
Okay.
okay, maybe it's time to retire my career as a
Just put
lyricist.
put the pen down and just pick up the guitar.
Yeah,
That's funny, man.
exactly.
The single, one of the other singles that came out is On the Edge. How did that song come together for you guys?
Oh, pretty good actually. It's like one of those mid-tempo groovers, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
And yeah, I always have problems to remember the song titles because they all have a different title when I work with
when
them.
you're working
They
on
all
them,
have,
yeah.
like I said, like the Man in Black is now Hail to the King, and On the Edge I have no idea what it was before. So I always like, Jesus, what's this song? But I think it's a mid tempo song. I try to have some Arabic influences here and there on the album with that high female voice.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And yeah, well, what can I say? Every song to me is like a baby, and yeah, I just let me have a listen real quick, so I'm not looking even more stupid than I look already. Like 1 second.
Yeah, it's a really good song. It's I mean, to be honest with you, when I listened
Ah,
to the album,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a song I I had John Sykes in mind with a real heavy groove. And how would John Sykes sound in a little bit more modern way? That was my initial idea
Wow,
about
that's
this song.
interesting. Yeah.
And then I think there's this nice piano melody in the chorus. Yeah, yeah, and I have this chorus with this little piano melody on top of it. And by the way, I played also all keyboards and organs and everything on the album,
Oh,
and also
wow.
bass.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of my favorite songs. And now I'm happy. I know it's On the Edge. It's the
Yeah, yeah,
title.
on the edge. Yeah. And I mean, another one that really caught my ear was Strangers in the Night. That song is such a classically fiery song, man.
I remember that one. That's a fast song. That's a
Yeah, yeah,
fast
yeah. I dig
song.
that one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's like White Snake on steroids.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that one.
that's what I wanted. Yeah,
I had read that there's a special story behind All for One and Billy's song. Uh,
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that one for our fans.
Another great story. I was 24 or 25, and I had the chance to work with Tony Carey of Rainbow. Tony Carey played keyboards on Rainbow's Live on Stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Rainbow's Live on Stage is to me till today one of my most favorite Go to an Island albums. And I've been at home in his home in his basement studio, and he's recording the organ, shaking the organ, and I'm looking through the window, behind the mixing desk. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is fucking Tony Carey
I'm
playing the
here
hand.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm
Wow.
24 or 25, whatever, and it's like, wow, this is turning to the right direction. My life is going good. And we recorded these two songs for my previous band, Sinner, and those two songs they were released in Japan as bonus tracks. And
Okay.
I always said those two songs they are way too good uh, to be just bonus tracks released in 1994, and that's it.
And they were only
And
released in Japan?
I think, yeah, I think they were
Wow.
only released in Japan as bonus tracks.
Wow.
And I always had in mind one day I'm gonna re-record those songs because they really stuck out to me, right? And also because of the story with Tony. And then I met Tony in Berlin while boarding to an airplane. He was standing right in front of me, and I tip on his shoulders. And I'm like, "Hey, Tony, what's up?" And he's, "Hey, I remember you, Alex. We worked together like 35 years ago or
Wow.
something."
By
And
name,
I'm
he
like,
remembered you.
"Oh,
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah." And I'm like, "Wow, this is really cool. You remember my name."
Hell yeah, man.
And I said, "You know what? Those two songs, I think I'm gonna re-record them. Yeah, do this. This is great." Yeah. And so yeah, this is the story of Tony Carey. I have so many stories. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy, man. Well, the album again is Hail to the King. It comes out on November 15th. Fans can head over to voodoocircle.de since it is a German band to find out more about the record. What kind of touring do you have lined up, if at all, to promote the record?
Well, we're gonna play a little tour in November around the release. I think it starts November 13th. Only here in Germany, like 5 shows so far, and that's it. Um, and small clubs doing jam sessions. Well, not jam sessions,
You're
jamming
jamming, yeah,
and doing
sure.
our thing. Yeah, and I'm totally looking forward to it, to be back on stage with Voodoo Circle because it's been a while. I think our last show was in 2017 or something,
Holy
and
cow.
yeah, that's way too long. And yeah, unfortunately, on the live touring side, it's never looked good for us. We always try to hop on a bigger tour. I mean, just imagine Voodoo Circle would have been toured with Whitesnake like 10 years ago. That would have been it, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
But it never happened, and
As-
so we are still fighting for support from the fans, you know.
Do you guys play, or do you have intentions on playing like some of the festivals? I mean, I know Europe is huge into the Hellfest and the Wacken and all the big festivals.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we have a booking agent, and he's offering the band to all those festivals, but nothing happens. So I don't
Nothing.
know.
I
Maybe
got you.
maybe they hate us. Maybe
Yeah.
we are not heavy enough.
Well,
Maybe we
whatever,
are too
man. That
soft. I don't know.
don't quit making the music because the music, it sells itself, man. It's just great stuff. So, yeah, I wish you the best of luck with Hail to the King, November 15th, and yeah, I hope to talk to you down the road, man.
Thank you, John. That was fun.
Alex, thank you so
That
much
was
for your
fun.
time, and yeah, I hope to hear more from Voodoo Circle, man.
All right. And then I talk to you again in 2 or 3 years.
That sounds good, man.
All right.
Alex,
Take
thanks so
care.
much, man. Yep, enjoy your day.
Take care, John.
Yes, sir.
Bye.